さんの新しい出発を応援します。
はい、ありがとうございます。
頑張ってください。
はい、ありがとうございます。
What's up, everybody? It's Young Kyo, and welcome to a Hideo Kojima news update. The following information comes from GameSpot's interview with Hideo Kojima after his DICE 2016 Summit panel with Guillermo del Toro, where he shared some hints regarding his upcoming new title, along with other interesting bits of new information. So, let's take a look here. The first question was about the progress that has been made since the new studio had been announced. Kojima stated that currently he's putting together staff, looking for facilities, and working on his upcoming project all in parallel, which he pointed out was unusual, as that stuff is usually done sequentially. So basically, they've got stuff cooking, but they're still putting together the team of chefs, the kitchen, and the tools. Kojima also added that his people tell him that while his games are great, they take a while to come out, which is something that Kojima's trying to change. Then, when asked about how he chooses the right project, Kojima began by reiterating that his initial plan was to take a year-long break to do his own thing, an indie film, a novel, or something along those lines. However, after talking to acquaintances and fans, they all basically told him the same thing. Everyone is expecting a lot from your next project, and it has to be a big one. Something that goes over a game that earned perfect scores, something that goes beyond that. Don't get derailed. Damn, that's a tall order. No pressure, buddy. But it is true. I'd be lying if I said that I wouldn't be disappointed if I learned that Kojima will be utilizing the first year of his newfound freedom not making games. While I'd love to see other types of work from him down the line, I think right now he needs to take advantage of this opportunity to make an awesome new game. Once he's established a new IP, then I'm totally down for a Hideo Kojima film or a Hideo Kojima novel. That's just me though. So after thinking about it, Kojima decided he would work on an edgy game project. And in terms of how he knew what kind of game he wanted to make, he stated that while he does have a lot of things he wants to do, he didn't have to think too much about which one he wanted to work on now, adding that what he's working on now came naturally. So it looks like he already has a pretty good idea on what kind of game this is going to be, which is a good sign. GameSpot then touched upon the pressures that come with the responsibility of running his new studio, to which Kojima responded that there are high expectations from staff and fans, so he feels as though he can't fail or disappoint. He also stated that he can't go out there and do something too extreme, and since it's his first game in the new studio and since he's now working with Sony, he wants to make sure that it's a great game for Sony as well. So there's also some pressure in that. However, he emphasized that none of this is going to change what's going to be in the game. To follow up on that, GameSpot asked if there are any aspects of his project that Sony is controlling, to which Kojima replied that they are not controlling what he's doing at all, which was part of the conditions, and that Sony was very respectful towards him and what he does. In that regard, it's been very nice and pleasant for Kojima. God bless you, Sony. God bless you. The next question touched upon Kojima's surprise on the success of the original Metal Gear Solid. He stated that with Metal Gear Solid 2, there was a need to expand and build a market, and so while there is stuff like that to consider during game development, he reiterated that he never wants to change anything so that a game can sell more copies. GameSpot then asked Kojima what advice he'd give himself if he could go back 30 years. And I won't talk too much about this, go ahead and pause the video and read it if you want, but I did find this segment here pretty funny, where he says, "I don't mean to brag with what I'm about to say, but I'm always making adjustments and playing the games I make, and I think to myself, this is too much fun. This is going to make other jobs harder. I need to make it a little more boring because it's just too good." Now, before you take this too seriously, I think what he's trying to say is that making a good product means that it's that much more pressure and that much harder to make the next one better, which is true. Next, GameSpot asked if he's cautious about making another game that could turn into a series, likely in reference to how Kojima was forced to continue to create Metal Gear games for most of his life, despite stating on multiple accounts that this Metal Gear game would be his last. Kojima's reply was that with Sony, they are working on a project that will be a new IP, and while he has no idea if it'll end up being a series, he wants to make something that will have a big enough impact to become a series. By impact, he means from the things that are unique to the game, the characters, and the world, that could even lead to other things outside of games like anime, manga, figurines, etc. Kojima was then asked if he intends to make a game with really strong narrative or really strong gameplay, to which Kojima unsurprisingly responded, both, as that's what people expect from him. He hinted that he wants to do something that gives a lot of freedom and interactivity that features a strong and dramatic story. He believes that's what people want from him and that's what he wants to do. And then he added something interesting. He said, at this point, it would be easier to make a linear game, but that's not. It's risky because we're just starting up, so it probably would be better to go with something smaller scale, maybe linear. But Sony is supporting us to make a big game that's edgy with a strong story that gives the player a lot of freedom, with new elements, and I don't know if that's possible, but we'll see. So while this isn't set in stone, it looks like Kojima's goal is to make an open-world game, or at least a game that's non-linear. While I doubt it'll reach the scale of Phantom Pain's map size, I'm always down for an extensive, dense, and lively open world. Here's hoping Kojima will achieve this goal, and I am confident that he will. GameSpot then asked if his next project will be a collaboration with another creator, which if you ask me was their way of indirectly asking if Del Toro will be involved. Kojima replied that fans are expecting a game that's his, with 80 to 90% of his blood in it. So while he would like to make collaborations, he believes that would lower the density of his identity in the upcoming game. Therefore, when it comes to collaborations, he wants them to be for other projects. So this might as well be confirmation that whatever project Kojima and Del Toro will be collaborating on isn't the upcoming PlayStation exclusive title. That's it for the juicy bits. The last two questions touch upon miscellaneous subjects, but still pretty interesting stuff, with the first one asking about misconceptions that people have about him. Kojima's response was that a lot of people say he spent too much money or took too long, but he clarified that his last project, MGS5, was only about 5 or 6 months late, and that he's always kept his word on timelines and budget. According to Kojima, while he does take 3 to 4 years to make games, that's the plan from the start, and the reason he takes so much time is because he creates his own teasers, posters, and works on creating the box for sales. He then added that Japanese creators are generally famous for being loose with schedules, and he thinks people put him in that category, but he claims that this is not the reality. In his case, he's the director and a producer, so he stays aware of production and the budget. Finally, when asked about the beard, Kojima stated he's not used to it and that he thinks about shaving it every day. As for why he decided to grow a beard in the first place, in becoming independent and creating his own studio, he wanted to change something about his look. He received a lot of positive comments from people outside of Japan, but inside Japan, beards have a bad image. People think, you look old, you look tired. He then added, my kids definitely don't like it. Well, you know what? Fuck those kids. That was a joke. Totally a joke. I'm sure they're nice kids. Me personally, I'm digging the punished Venom Kojima look. It's very, poetic. But beard or no beard, I like what I'm hearing about Kojima's upcoming new game. Still not a lot to go on, but at least we now know that the goal is to create an open world or non-linear game with really strong narrative and gameplay that could be big enough to possibly turn into a series or expand into other mediums like anime, manga, figures, novels, etc. We also know that Kojima's upcoming new game will be his game, so it's doubtful that his partnership with Del Toro revolves around this particular project. And that about sums up every important bit of information from GameSpot's interview, so with that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know in the comments below your thoughts and theories about all the new information revealed in this interview. And to be further updated on gaming news, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out!